Alright, so this music is from the Age of Restraint DLC for the Rise of the Golden Idol. The scenario probably took 30 minutes or at least an hour to complete for a lot of players, and one track had to do all the work the entire time. That's quite a bit to ask of one song. In this video, I'll walk you through some of the things that I did to keep it from getting old. Alright, so this track is over 7 minutes long, which is basically an eternity in video game music. I mean, it's crazy that it's so long. But if you think about it, a 3-minute track that looped for an hour, that means the player would have to listen to that one track for 20 listens, 20 times through before the scenario is solved. And that's kind of a lot. And so my solution was a longer track, 7 to 10 listens, which is really drastically cuts down how many times it's repeated. So that's one thing I did. Another thing I did was I made the song more progressive. Instead of it being, oh, here's section A, B, maybe a C, I made it more progressive. So from section to section, they were really markedly different. So it kind of was morphing into a different song each time, even though it really wasn't compositionally, but it sounded like it was moving into new territory every minute or two. So that's something I did. Also, I used some adaptive layers, just 2 layers. So the first half of the scenario, it's a reduced version, and then after solution, more instruments come in. So the arrangement changes, noticeably halfway through. So they're not listening to exactly the same thing for the second half of the scenario. So an example of 2 sections that are compositionally pretty similar, but they sound pretty different is right here. So this is early in the track. Okay, and then quite a bit later, it's kind of the same music, but it sounds a lot different. So those 2 sections have pretty much the same exact kind of harmonic foundation, which is Dorian sharp 4. That's the mode. It's a mode of harmonic minor. And just as a side note, composers experiment with modes of harmonic minor. They're very interesting, and they sound pretty exotic and foreign, but not so foreign that they're kind of unusable or hard to digest. They still sound kind of familiar, whereas modes of melodic minor can be much more difficult to use in a meaningful way. But so check out harmonic minor modes. They're worth your time. All right. So sandwiched between those 2 sections of Dorian sharp 4, which was actually C Dorian sharp 4, a mode of G harmonic minor for you theory nerds, sandwiched between those 2 sections is D harmonic minor. And it's pretty minimal. It's just a bass kind of playing a harmonic minor riff and some nice strings up on the top, keeping it kind of cinematic. Yeah, so that's kind of what's going on. We're keeping a world of harmonic minor, but there's a key change in the middle in a kind of subtle way. Another kind of I thought was cool, see if I can find it, is I used my own voice. It's a great idea to, when you can, introduce instruments that are not inside your computer, because video game composers, we all have the same samples. We have the same stuff, So in this track, I played bass. And right here, I did some singing of some chords. you know, for just for a little cadence right there between sections. And here's another one. Cool. And because some of this is still MIDI, I think that was the wrong guitar part, but it sounded kind of cool anyway. So use instruments that are not in your DAW. Bring stuff from outside. That's really helpful. Even if you just sing something or grab some percussion, whatever. Most musicians, you play an instrument that's not on your computer. So use it. Use it when you write music. So those were some of the things that were going on in this track. The developer needed one song to carry up to an hour of gameplay. Let me know if you think I pulled that off, and I really appreciate you watching.